Now, every single rapper gets hate no matter who it is, even someone like J. Cole. So this is a series where I look at different artists and I try to figure out the top reasons as to why they get hated on. So today, we're looking at J. Cole. Now, J. Cole to me is one of the most relatable rappers out there just because he's such a regular guy. J. Cole is like everyone's big brother. But even someone like J. Cole has haters. I know, crazy, right? So, reason number one, J. Cole is boring. Now, you've probably heard this before, but why do people say this? What is it exactly that is so boring about J. Cole? One of the reasons as to why people may say this is because J. Cole's rap style is more of a laid-back style. It's not as intense as someone like Kendrick where you can practically feel his voice inside you. Pause. And of course, considering J. Cole and Kendrick are the rappers most people rate as their top 5 rappers of this generation, it's inevitable that people are gonna compare these two guys. He has a really chill and laid-back vibe compared to Kendrick, who just goes in and goes in and goes in. But I don't think that people saying that J. Cole is a boring rapper is necessarily a bad thing, because that really says more about the person who's judging the music than J. Cole himself. Because let's face it, the truth is there's a lot of turn up rap nowadays and rap mixed with pop. And of course a good example of that is someone like Drake. But as soon as you start comparing J. Cole to that kind of sound, that's when J. Cole's music really sounds boring, because it's really not the music itself that is boring, but it just means that the pop rap is obviously more entertaining since it's all about the vibes and the melodies. And of course, there's always a time and place for the J. Cole type of storytelling and the Drake vibes. So that just comes down to personal preference and what kind of mood you're in at the moment. But me personally, I can easily overlook the whole J. Cole is boring argument just because I don't listen to him for the vibes and the melodies. I listen to him for what he's best at doing, which is telling stories. Now, let's move on to reason number 2, which is J. Cole has bad hooks. Even though this is something that doesn't bother me as much as other people, I can see where they're coming from. I feel like J. Cole has a tendency to make hooks that doesn't sound so good sonically. Now, that's just for me personally. One example is Folding Clothes from his latest release and Ville Mentality. Now, as I said before, this is not something that bothers me as much as other people because I can easily overlook it. But essentially, I think what would be the best for J. Cole is if he sticks to his rapping hooks. One example is on his song Fire Squad from Forest Hills Drive. I think he executed that perfectly. But let's move on to the next reason, which is also the last, and that is J. Cole is not evolving. But is this really true? I can see why people say this because as I listen to all of his previous albums like Born Sinner and Forest Hills Drive, I feel like sonically both of these projects were similar and there wasn't really any growth in that realm. Now, don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that he did not progress, but the overall sound and the vibe of the projects weren't really any different. I think even though J. Cole has become less and less lyrical as time goes on, he still holds the quality of his music high. But for an example, let's just say that J. Cole is not evolving with his music. What does he need to do? One issue that I have with J. Cole's latest release was that the whole concept wasn't as concise as it should be, even considering how short the whole project was. I just think that the whole backstory of the project could have been executed much better. But other than that, I really think that J. Cole is on a good path, and I truly think that the people who really appreciate good music and honesty will start overlooking that J. Cole is boring or that his hooks aren't as good as they should be when they're ready to. But let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about the reasons that I just talked about? Do they stop you personally from enjoying J. Cole's music? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you like these type of videos. This channel is all about bringing together people like you who enjoy hip-hop and start a discussion on different topics like this. And as always, like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'm out.